Kicked it off here. Last time he was trying so hard to put that ball in the couple of times, but Wade moves on to the football. It's a end-over-end kick knocked down by one. And straight up the middle and out good to the 35-yard line is 41 Brian Wyman. Wyman had a time finding the ball, but once he did advance to 10 yards, the Bearcats will take over first and 10 at their own 35. Clear name downfield for Lake Hamilton to make the tackle on the kickoff, and that's number 26, Chris Eastman.
It's on the slot back in motion near side. And off of the tailback, Davis off the right side of nothing doing, pretty much the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Billy Roden is not starting tonight, I understand.
Bob, let me give a real quickly, the defensive front. West Enthorn will be the 7 technique. Clint Crabtree starting in place of Billy Roden at a 2 technique. Billy had to miss the practice, and Coach Clay has a policy, cannot start. Steve Moore is at a 2 technique, and also Trevor Sutton is at a 7 technique.
Wide out right side is Purefoy. Slot right is now in motion to the near side, open side of the field. Quarterback still has the handoff, pitches to the tailback Davis, and he'll be dumped way back inside the 30. Let's see where they mark at, let's call it the 30-yard line. It's a 5-yard loss, and blasting through there was.
But they tried to run the option play to the left that time. Trevor Sutton did a good job of taking the quarterback, forcing the pitch, and Wade Atchison, outside linebacker, came up to make the tackle. An outstanding linebacker, Bob, also joined by Tim Kohler and middle linebacker Todd Atkins.
All right, they come to the line, third down at about 15, slot right, and back to the right. That's the open side of the field. McDaniel deep hand off to Davis, and Davis will lose a couple of more yards, as it is evident the Bearcats want to establish some kind of a running game, but in 3 tries will net a negative 7 yards.
Quickly, let me set the defensive secondary. Alex Harris at a cornerback, also Matt Wade at cornerback. 2 safeties, Kevin Hopkins and Chris Eastburn, and as we alluded to earlier, they average 6 feet, 200 pounds. Bob, that's a huge secondary in high school football.
All right, Davis will do the kicking, dropping off to his own 15-yard line. The sophomore Damon Sheets and the junior Bo Mitten stand back at the Wolf 40. Here's the good snap. Driving end-over-end kid. Mitten at the 40, drops it. Left side, 45, finds a bit of running room up across the 50 into Bearcat territory down to the 48-yard line. I know he didn't like to drop it, but good positive yardage there for the junior Bo Mitten.
Well, if you're a punt returner, you like to see those low line drive kicks. They're easier to field, plus the coverage does not have time to get down the field. We've seen both fumble a couple of those, so I look for him to start doing a better job receiving front.
Ty Adams, the senior quarterback for the Lake Hamilton Wolves, leads the troops to the line. Wide out near side is Greer. Inside handoff to the fullback, and powering his way, it looks like Chris Eastburn, up near the 40-yard line, gain of about 8 yards, and Chris almost popped it out of there.
Run to that right side. Let me set the offensive line for Lake Hamilton. Bobby Lethbridge at tight end. Brian Lumen gets the start in place of Billy Roden at left tackle. Clint Crabtree at left guard. Brent Garrett at center. Rick Dalton at right guard, and Brandon Fryer starting at right tackle.
On 2nd and 2, don't be surprised if the Wolves will put this one into the air. Slot left is Murders, and wide to left side is Sheets. Takes the handoff, straight drop, running out of it, wide open is Mitten, and over his head into the end zone. And Ty Adams showed a great strong arm that time. Defensive coverage kind of gave up on him at the 5-yard line, and Bo was a good 5 yards into the end zone, but the throw was just too strong.
Well, Ty threw that ball approximately 50 yards, and I think what happened, Bo got behind the defensive back and maybe gave up on the pass, and if it had kept going, it would have been right on the money, because Ty did overthrow it.
Exactly. Mitten comes out. Into the ball game now is Greer. He'll come wide to the short side of the field. Slot is Murders back to the right. Eastburn, the fullback. Wade is the tailback. Wade gets the call, tries the right side, and will get close to the necessary yardage as he picks up about 2, maybe 2.5 yards. Inside the 40, call it the 38, and I believe they're going to have to bring the sticks on this time for a measurement. momentary timeout on the field. 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go. We have no score. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW. Go ahead and hold it right here as they're able to get them on pretty quick here. And you have to think with the big line, if they would happen to be short, which they are apparently going to be by just an inch, the Wolves will be going for this one. Well, they threw on a good down while ago at second short, and they went for the end zone, figuring they could pick it up on third down. But they are probably close enough to go. And at this time of the ball game, I'm sure they'll go for the first down. Fourth down and inches from the 38 of the Bearcats. The Wolves come up, sending Greer wide to the short side of the field. Official takes a momentary timeout. They want to wait for the chain to get resituated on the sideline. Wolves moving left to right as we view it in maroon over gold, white over red with red helmets for the Bearcats. Adams gives to the fullback. Straight up the middle comes Eastburn, and he grinds out about a good 6 yards down to the 32-yard line, and the Wolves pick up their first down of the night, deep in Bearcat territory.
Good quick handoff to Chris Eastburn that time. It looked like to me Lake Hamilton might have got away with a motion penalty. It looked like to me someone had moved.
Well, Eastburn knew what to do when he got the line. He hit that hole hard and quick. First and 10, the ball inside the 32 as Adams comes in with a play from the bench. Play clock down to 10 seconds as the Wolves break the huddle and get to the line of scrimmage. Wide out is Sheets to the far side of the field. 5 seconds. 4 as Adams goes under center. 2 seconds and just gets it off. Straight drop, rolling left now, has a little bit of pressure, runs out of it to the 30, inside the 30, down to about the 26-yard line. Gain of about 5, maybe 6 that time. Ty Adams, that's something we did not see last week. We alluded to the fact that he was smart in not forcing a pass and throwing an interception, but sometimes he just probably could have run with it and cut the ball under and took a loss.
He was looking for James Rogers and Damon Sheets, and both were covered, so he did go ahead and find a hole that time, made a good gain.
6-yard gainer, 2nd and 4. Still has the ball. Here's the deep pitch. Wait at the 30. Fumbles the ball as he's hit and gets it back. Rolls right under him as Wade will cover it at the 25-yard line and pick up the first down. That's a bit of luck there.
Yeah, Matt fumbled the ball, and the ball did come back to him. And that's what I was talking about earlier, that Lake Hamilton cannot afford to make these mistakes. They need to take control of the game early. The defense came down and shut out Mena on the first series. Offense needs to get a score on the board.
First and 10 for the 20-yard line as Adams comes up with Waite and Eastburn behind him. Murders in the slot right. Rolling left side, good protection. Now he'll flip it out complete. Murders coming underneath the coverage and close to the end zone. They say he stepped out at around the 5-yard line, dove into the end zone, but a foot out somewhere around the 5.
Again, there shows a good decision by Ty Adams. He had Bobby Ledridge in the deep corner, and Ledridge had a step on his defensive back, but Jeff Murders was wide open, a wiser choice to throw to, and as you mentioned, Jeff just barely got out of bounds and kept him from getting in the end zone.
Nice to see Jeff into the action. He kind of missed out quite a bit last week. Adams under center. Hand off Waite, right side, inside the 5, and into the end zone. He was hit at about the 3-yard line, but the big 205-pounder kept churning and found pay dirt, and the Wolves are on the board. This drive starting at, the 35-yard line or so.
Matt did a good job of keeping his legs turning that time, because he was met in the hole by Reuben Davis, the outstanding running back on offense for Mena, but Matt did a good job of getting in the end zone.
48-yard drive in 2 minutes and 45 seconds. Out the hold of number 9, Brock Lyons, and we'll have a new. Lake Hamilton may have to burn a timeout here, and they will on the extra point, as one of the linemen was slow in getting onto the field. We're going to have a new kicker this week, Wesley Henthorne, who we saw Puckett last week do most of the kicking. But Henthorne now will, they're not going to take this whole time out, so we'll just leave it right here as Rogers runs back out on the field. Again, Lyons will do the holding tonight. Rogers is the deep snapper. 6 6-0 at the moment. Score came with 6:55 to go here in the first quarter of play, and Lake Hamilton doing it very effectively. Of course, the only negative you saw was that fumble, which was recovered by the tailback, Matt Waite, for the first down. But everything else picture perfect. Henthorne out of the hole, the Buck Lions from the snap of Rogers, and here it comes. High snap, but it's down. Conventional style kicker puts it up, and this one might be wide right. It is no good. You hate to do that. 6 minutes and 55 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Lake Hamilton 6 and Mena nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Quick City Oil and Lube of Hot Springs says you need one tough motor oil to meet the demands of fall driving, and that motor oil is Quaker State. Whether it's back to school, football games, or enjoying fall festivals, Quaker State will get you there smoother. Quick City Oil and Lube at 3307 Central or at 505 Airport Road is family-owned and operated since 1983, and both provide you quick, friendly service backed by the tough performance of Quaker State. At Quick City Oil and Lube in Hot Springs.
Chamber of Commerce 1992 Business Expo is September 30th and October 1st. This year's expo promises to be the best ever. Your business has a unique opportunity to say thanks to the community by offering special values as well as displaying new services and products. Already over 75 businesses are participating. Reserve your booth today for the Business Expo 1992 by calling 321-1700. That's 321-1700.
There's the deep kick, and hits at about the 10-yard line, and Justin Webster wants nothing to do with it, lets it roll into the end zone, and Matt Waite has his first touchback of the year on the kick, but it was not the one that he wanted, though. As you mentioned, no one received that one, so it was able to get into the end zone, but Matt will be a weapon as the conference starts. All right, the Bearcats come up first and 10 from their own 20-yard line with their second offensive series of the night. Quarterback McDaniel has behind him Wyman and Davis. Slot back in motion. We have a flag on the play. I believe a slot back came a little bit early as Davis gets the pitch, and good yardage up to about the 24-yard line, but apparently for naught, as that slot back, I believe that was Purefoy that was coming in motion to the near side, had made his upfield cut before the snap of the ball.
Well, the defensive coaches are not going to be real happy that play was able to get outside, Bob, and that time Alex Harris came up and took a little fake, and had it not been for the penalty, it would have been a nice game for Mena.
Has to be one of the strong points of Lake Hamilton this year is penetration on the corners and aggressiveness out there, because you know, as last year, you're going to see a lot of speed from the AAA South Conference, and those pitch sweeps can be devastating if you're not aggressive out there. First and 15 as the ball is marked off back to the 15-yard line. Lake Hamilton, there's that dog again down at the other end of the field, being coaxed off with a big biscuit, I think. Slot right in back to the right, McDaniel under center. Lone setback is Davis, optioning down the line. The pitch is on the ground, picked up by Davis. He'll get back to the 15 and maybe gain a yard on that play. But Bearcats very fortunate that time as the quarterback McDaniel bounced that one in front of Davis, and Davis made a nice job picking it up.
Chris Eastman was coming in that time and forced the bad pitch, and as you mentioned, Mena very fortunate. The ball bounced right back up to Davis.
6-0 Lake Hamilton. On the offensive drive started at the Bearcat 48, and in about 2 minutes and 45 seconds, it was Waite into the end zone from 5 yards out, and the PAT by Henthorne was no good. Slot left, in motion back to the right side, and apparently he did not come set, but apparently the Bearcats, Lake Hamilton was into the neutral zone, so the Bearcats will get this one back the 5 yards from their motion penalty, and now we're looking at a second down with about 9 yards to go at the 21-yard line. This whole game seems to be kind of in a blue funk tonight. I don't know what it is. Last week, Lake Hamilton was so crisp. Maybe it's me. Slot right, back in motion, deep handoff. Davis has the ball, and a first down as he barrels his way out to the 30-yard line.
As we mentioned, Bob, Reuben Davis gained over 100 and something yards last week against the Queen, and as you can see on that play, he does look like a very good running back. and he picked up the first down.
They're giving him a deep handoff and letting him see the field. They took advantage of some downfield blocking that time. Initial first down of the game for the Bearcats at their own, let's call it 31-yard line. McDaniel will send Purefoy wide out to the open side. That's the left side of the field. Slot also in the left. Will stay put this time. Long count. Inside handoff to the fullback, and Wyman will get maybe a yard, and that's about it before he's smothered. Second down, and let's call it 8.5, 9 yards to go here.
Number 61, Steve Moore, one of the tacklers, and Coach Bunch was talking about Lake Hamilton's size. He's playing with an offensive line of 160 to 180 pounders, and Lake Hamilton on the defensive front are all over 200 pounds.
McDaniel comes up, slot and in back to the left. Now the slot back in motion. Takes to the fullback, deep pitch to Davis around the right side. He'll get a bit of running room, maybe about 4 yards. Will bring up third down at around 5 yards to go as they attempted to push it up the short side of the field.
Well, Mena having some success getting outside, and that's definitely got to be a concern for the Wolves coaching staff, because Mena certainly does not possess the speed as they're going to see in the future weeks.
It'll be a long 4 on third down for the Bearcats. 4:17 to go here in the first period. 6-0 Lake Hamilton. Wide out left, slot also back to the left. On third and 4, McDaniel short drop, knocked down, almost picked off by Lake Hamilton's number 46, Wade Atchison, and if he could have popped that one up into the air and run under it, there was nobody between him and 40 yards of pay dirt.
Well, Wade did that last week. He didn't get the touchdown, but he did make a great interception, batted the ball up in the air, and came down with it. Wade is an outstanding linebacker.
You could see he saw that play developing and stayed exactly where he needed to be. Sheets and Mitten drop off back to the Lake Hamilton 35-yard line as Davis is set to punt for the Bearcats, his second punt of the night. First one was a low-line drive. Mitten fumbled, but picked up and returned 15 yards. High snap, a good floater, not much of a rush, and this is a good kick this time. Mitten, no. Damon Sheets drops it, picks up 5. We have a flag. He's up to the 35, has a sideline, 40, 45, 50, and out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. And I can't help but feel that Mitten probably is going to be charged with a hole back here. I don't know what else it could possibly be, as that happened behind Damon Sheets taking it off of the sideline.
Well, it was really hard to tell, because Damon and Bo both wanted to field that punt and almost fought over the ball, and Damon dropped it, picked it up. So we really couldn't see what Bo did, but you're probably right. I would assume a holding call.
That's not a hold. They're going to call it a clip, but at any rate, that'll be 15 yards instead of the 47 of the Bearcats. Lake Hamilton will have to start at around their own 15-yard line. We saw this happen once last week as well. Ball squarely atop the 15-yard line, and Lake Hamilton has 85 yards in front of them and 3:43 to go here in the first quarter, leading by a score of 6-0. There comes wide out to the right side. That's the open side of the field, and the slot is Murders to the right. 1 reception tonight for good yardage. We have a flag on the left side, handoff to Waite. Waite picks up about 8 yards as he barrels his way up the sideline, and we'll have an infraction on the line here. We'll see a procedure call against Lake Hamilton, and I'm sure the Bearcats will take this one and make it first and 15 from the 10.
Lake Hamilton making a lot of costly mistakes right now, and I know that's got to be a concern. As we mentioned, is the longer Mena can stay in the game, the more confidence that they will gain, and Lake Hamilton has had several penalties so far.
James Rogers and Murders sharing duties at slot back here tonight. It's Murders into the ball game right now. As Greer will stay in and come wide to the open side, right side of the field at about the hash mark. On first and 15, Adams still has the ball, flips it out. It'll be incomplete. Leverage, the intended receiver, up at about the 25-yard line, just right through his hands on a crossing pattern from left to right. Should have caught the ball.
Yeah, Todd could have also run, but he made the right decision. Leverage was wide open, just went right through his hands, and according to George Leach, Lake Hamilton 4 penalties for 30 yards.
Not what we saw last week. Mitten and Rogers into the ball game. Out comes Greer and I assume Murders. No, Waite will come off. Lake Hamilton with a second down and 15 to go from their own 10-yard line. And the Wolves with hard be any time left on the play clock, we'll call timeout. 3 minutes and 32 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Lake Hamilton with a 2nd and 15 from their own 10-yard line. Leading the Bearcats of Mena by a score of 6-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Potato Patch is famous for their baked potatoes and deli sandwiches. They have 11 classic potatoes to choose from, like chili and cheddar, broccoli and cheese, or you can choose from the light potato menu. When you order from Potato Patch, ask them for their discount card. They're also famous for pizza and nachos with that Mexican flavor. You can phone ahead for orders to go. The number is 525-6400. Visit the Potato Patch in the Hot Springs Mall.
Well, the Bearcats, by the way, Tommy, are pretty aggressive in that Adams has to get out of the pocket. He has to roll, so they're creating some problems there, showing a little quickness defensively.
So far, this first quarter has been almost a repeat of last week. Lake Hamilton going down first possession, picking up a touchdown, and right now they find themselves in poor field position, and that's what haunted them all first half on offense last week.
All right, we'll see a pro set now as double receivers come wide to the open side of the field. Slot also to the right. Single set back, I believe that's Eastburn back there on 2nd and 15. Adams under center. He'll option, roll down the line, flips it out, complete. Mitten has it. And as he tries to turn upfield, will step out. Not much yardage on that one, up to the 14-yard line. So a gain of 4 and a 3rd and 11 coming up.
Well, you look at the penalty a while ago on the punt return. Damon Sheep was up around midfield, I guess, and now Lake Hamilton's going to have to punt from their own 14-yard line.
Assuming they don't pick up this 3rd down conversion here.
I'm sorry, I'm taking it down away.
Again, Greer comes wide to the short side. Slot back to the right is Murders. 3rd and 11. Here's the pitch left side. Alex Harris with the ball. Cuts back inside and will not pick up the first down as he'll get out across the 20 to about the 22-yard line. But that gives Matt Wade and company some breathing room to kick this ball away.
Well, Matt is a great punter. He's very well capable of kicking the ball 40 to 50 yards. And as I mentioned last week, Alex Harris is also a good punter. And Coach Clay feels that they may be two of the best in the state.
Well, that was really conservative football that time by Jerry Clay, something you don't often see on a 3rd and 11, just a straight pitch. Try to get the big boys out front and pick up some yardage, but not quite enough. 7 yards on that carry by Harris. Davis is deep to await the punt from Wake. Here's a line drive. It'll finally set up and bounce at about the 45-yard line and out of bounds at around the 44, maybe 43-yard line, and that's where the Bearcats will go 1st and 10 for their 3rd series here tonight with 2:35 to go in the first quarter. It's really strange, Tommy. You know, here Mena's about to look at their 3rd possession, still 2.5 minutes to go, and you go to some of these junior high games, and it should be halftime by now.
In the last series, the thing that sticks out in my mind was the penalty on the punt return, and also the fact that they had a drop pass, Bob, on a wide open receiver. So you go back and take those 2 plays away, and you have a whole different outlook right now.
Wide out short side of the field. Mena comes up. McDaniel rolling right side. Flips it out, incomplete. Intended receiver was number 41, the fullback, Brian Wyman, up at about the midfield stripe. Through his hands and out of bounds. So 2nd and 10 for the Bearcats at their own 44.
Todd Adkin made the receiver pay that time on the sideline over there on the Mena side.
Kind of hold your breath sometimes on those that you never know what an official might call. Wide out short side of make that the open side of the field is Purifoy. In the slot to the left is Harris. Tailback Davis, naked bootleg right side, and McDaniel will try to bring it up to midfield and will get to about the 48-yard line. Good gain of about 4, maybe 5 yards on the play and bring up 3rd down and a good 5 to go.
Good fake by McDaniel, but again, there you see the speed. McDaniel gains 4 yards. If that's Hope or Camden Fairview, that's probably a gain of maybe 15 or maybe the distance.
All right, Wolves will try to hold once again here, preventing the Bearcats from getting into Wolf territory at their own 48. They'll send wide out to the left side. That's the open side. Slot also to the left. Short drop. And incomplete. What a timing by Alex Harris that time as he met up with number 45, Tim Schulte. You know, he would not have had a first down anyhow, but he made him pay.
Well, we talked about a couple of breakdowns in the secondary last week, and Coach Gordon came back out and mentioned the second half will be more aggressive. That was a very aggressive move that time by Alex Harris.
You think that Coach Clay had a discussion with Damon Sheets and Bo Minton as they are prepared to receive this punt from Davis? He stands at his own 35, low snap, rolls up, and he picks it up. Low kick, Sheets, 25, 30, 35, in open field, 50, down the sideline, 40, and down he goes at the 35-yard line. This is one of the things that Lake Hamilton would have to hope will start to develop, because Sheets is probably one of the kids that does have a little bit of speed.
Well, I got to mention something for Damon here also. He had 2 touchdowns last week, and we're going to call him Damon Fat and Sheets, and he got that low line drive kick, Bob. You notice he was able to catch that on the run, but I think he's going to have a good year returning punts for Lake Hamilton.
Rear wide out, open side. That's the left side of the field. Pitch, wait, left side. Tries to find a block. Gets down to the 35 to about the 32-yard line. About a 3-yard gainer on that play before the pursuit finally catches up with Mr. Waite. Inside 2 minutes to go. Again, Lake Hamilton holding on to a 6-0 lead. They took the opening their possession after holding Mena at the Mena 48-yard line, and Picture Perfect drove it in for the score. Waite from 5 yards out. Gain of 3, 2nd and 7 from the Bearcat 33-yard line. Rolling right side, a bit of pressure on Davis. He'll get it off. Ty Adams, and he'll have the first down. It looked like it was Greer on the receiving end. It was down at around the 20-yard line, and was about to say that somebody almost collared Ty Adams that time in the backfield, but he shook loose.
Well, we talked about Ty not having great speed or quickness, but he is shifty, Bob, and he does a good job of eluding the pressure, and again, he picked up the wide open receiver.
Murders slot right, Greer back to the right side as well. Inside handoff to fullback, and Eastburn plows his way 5-6 yards inside the 15-yard line. Number 26, Chris Eastburn, has carried for about 3 times tonight, and at least 5 or 6 yards every time he's touched the ball. That time 8.
Chris ran up the back of one of our own offensive linemen that time. If it had been for that, he might have reached the end zone.
New player Rogers into the ball game, and also offensively this time, number 29, Tim T.K. Kohler is in there, and Eastburn comes off the field. Let's see how they'll play this one. Bulls come up, and they'll send Rogers, and this is Greer Sheets. I believe it's Greer, wide to the open side. Kohler, the blocking back. With the football rolling right is Adams, trying to get rid of it, does, enter the end zone, bounces it in front of the intended receiver, Rogers. And you hear a few boos, but that was clearly a trap football.
A good job again by Ty. He scrambled out of the pocket, avoided the pressure, and he threw the ball where it only had a chance to be completed, and it did clearly bounce on the ground. And Bob, I'd like at this time to send out our wishes to Jamie Bridges, who suffered an accident this past week, and we would send our wishes to Jamie and hope he's feeling better.
All right, the Wolves, second down, make that third down now, and about 2 yards to go. Here's the deep handoff to the fullback, and I believe that's Waite in there, and nothing happening at the line of scrimmage as he'll be stood up. Actually a loss on the play, 4th down, and a good 3 yards coming up. Here the ball inside the 15, call it the 14-yard line.
That was Alex Harris that time. I couldn't pick up the number from Mena, but the Mena defensive lineman did a good job of standing his ground and forced Harris to run into the back of Lake Hamilton's offensive line.
4 new players in, and I'm looking for probably some kind of a short pass on this one here. They'll need to break hurry. 6 seconds left on the play clock. As quickly to the line of scrimmage, 3 seconds, 2, and timeout. Well, actually, did they call a timeout, or the quarter ended there, but did they award a timeout before the quarter ended?
I believe Lake Hamilton got very lucky that the officials didn't give them a timeout, because the 25-second clock went out after the quarter ended, so we're lucky the officials went ahead and did not call it.
End of the first quarter, Lake Hamilton with a 4th and 4 at the Mena 14-yard line, leading 6-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Take comfort in S&H Air and Heat to bring you the quality and energy efficiency of the Trane XL1200 air conditioner. The XL1200 comes with an exclusive manufacturer's 10-year limited warranty on the compressor.
All season long right here on KXOW Hot Springs. 4th and 4 at the 14-yard line shows Rogers and Mitten wide right side. And back to the left and an eye behind Ty Adams. Maybe trying to draw that defense offside. No. There's a short timing pattern into the end zone. No good. Intended receiver was Bo Mitten. Just could not quite run under it. But a nice effort by the junior, Bo Mitten.
Have to give some credit to Mena on that. Great coverage that time. Todd did throw the ball deep to the end zone. Bo made a good effort but couldn't come up with it. Bob, a special hello to a couple of listeners who would be here, but they have to work. Nathan Kelly and Klaus Schwartz now. Klaus said somebody has to work for a living, and he didn't know why it was him, but he listens to us every week.
Well, I knew who Klaus was, but I didn't know his last name.
Well, I probably didn't say it correctly. Klaus is proud of his German background, and Schwartz now.
Slot right in, right back to pass is McDaniel. He'll go deep down the sideline, has a receiver out there through the hands of the intended receiver, 45 Tim Schulte, who got behind the coverage. The ball just overthrown.
Got to be one of the toughest assignments in football is playing in the defensive secondary, trying to cover someone man-to-man. The offensive receiver knows where he's going, and the defensive back spends most of the time going backwards, trying to run the same speed with the receiver.
All right. They'll come up again. The ball on the far side hash mark. Receivers come wide to the open side. Single set back behind McDaniel in 2nd down and 10. Slot back now goes in motion back to the left. Quarterback keeps the ball. McDaniel will slip out of one tackle, but not the other. Will take a throw about 5 yards up to around the 17, 18-yard line. I think they're going to give him the 19, so let's call it 3rd down and about 5 yards to go. End of the second quarter, Lake Hamilton leading 6-0. Their first possession started at the Mena 48-yard line. Combination of pass and the run with Wake capping it off from a 5-yard line plunge. And the PAT no good. Our score is 6-0. 3rd and 5. McDaniel and company at the line. He looks, has pressure, running out of it, trying to get it off, and does. Pulls it downfield. Will be intercepted. Coming up with the ball for the Lake Hamilton Wolves was number 44, Kevin Hopkins, at about the 35-yard line. He stepped in front of the receiver and brought it down.
Yeah, nice interception by Kevin Hopkins. He's good in the secondary. Made a couple of big interceptions at the end of last season. McDaniel forced out of the pocket that time and made an ill-advised throw.
Does not show a strong arm on the run anyhow. We haven't seen him be able to set up yet. From the 34-yard line, Lake Hamilton with good field position. As we get inside, 11 minutes to go. Ty Adams onto the field to direct the offense. We'll send Bo Mitten wide to the right. That's the open side. Burgers in the slot right. Is Eastburn and Waite the running backs. Waite on the deep pitch right side. Gets a block from Eastburn and gets about 10 still on his feet inside the 24 and should have the first down at about the 23-yard line.
Matt Waite for the second time showing some good power running. Ran out of a couple tackles. He's listed as 6 foot 205. Goes by the nickname Chief. Another good run that time by Matt.
Before the season's over, we'll have all these Todd Hannibal Aiken. And before the season's over, I'm sure all of them will give us a nickname for them.
Some of them we may not be able to give on the air.
1st and 10 from the 23-yard line. The Wolves come up. Mitten wide out left side. We have an official timeout on the field. Looks like Matt Waite has an equipment problem, quickly remedied, and we're ready to go here. 10-11. Lake Hamilton with the ball, 1st and 10 from the 23, leading 6-0. Eastburn with a straight handoff, straight up the middle, and he will score! Chris Eastburn.
Well, Bob, we know how aggressive Chris Eastburn is on defense, and so far, every time he's carried the ball tonight, he has really attacked the hole. And correct me if I'm wrong, I don't believe anyone touched him at all on that play.
All right, Jason Puckett will come on now to get back. He kicked all of the extra points last week. The only miss was one that was mishandled, and he really had an opportunity to kick it at all. Henthorne tried the first point after tonight, did miss it, so Puckett will do the point after kicking here at this moment. Out of the hold, the Brock Lions, and from the snap of James Rogers. 13, make that 12-0, trying to make it 13-0 as the Wolves are set here. Here's the snap. It's a low one, down and up. Looks to be good. It is. Rogers kind of rolled it back there, but Brock Lyons did a great job of getting it on the tee. And good concentration from Jason Puckett to put it through. 9:59 to go in the first half of play. Our score from Wolf Stadium, Lake Hamilton 13, Mena nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Life insurance for Right Now represents security for your family. A family life policy from State Farm agent Alex Strawn provides the best kind of security and protection for each member of your family under one low-cost policy. With State Farm Life Insurance in Hot Springs, phone State Farm agent Alex Strawn at 767-3471 or visit him at 1327 Airport Road in Hot Springs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Well, Lake Hamilton got it at the, we'll call it 35-yard line. They did it in 2 plays. 23-yard run by Chris Eastburn, and it took a minute and a 2 to put the second touchdown on the board. Matt Waite will kick off for the third time here tonight. Again, Lake Hamilton has the option to start the second half. He'll get into this one, kind of an end-over-end kick, and fumble picked up. And this will be interesting here. Inside the 20-yard line at about 18. I thought that the receiving party for the Bearcats fielded the ball, went onto his knees, and then fumbled the ball, picked it up and ran with it, and I felt he should have been down at the 15-yard line, but they let him pick it up and run with it.
Well, he definitely went down. I think probably the official decision was he maybe never actually had possession of the football.
Yes. At any rate, the Bearcats will have to start inside their 20 at the 17-yard line, and the Bearcats will call timeout and talk about it. With 9:36 to go here in the first half of play, our score, Lake Hamilton 13 and Mena nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Red River Marine at 3034 Albert Pike has fishing boats and bass boats by Procraft, Waco, Spectrum, and Fisher. Pleasure boats by Bayliner, Four Winds, and Crown Line. Pontoon boats by Harris Float Boat, Aloha, Spectrum, and Fisher. All of the work is performed by factory-trained and certified mechanics, and this means Red River Marine guarantees their work. Red River Marine is Arkansas's largest volume dealer, and they're located at 3034 Albert Pike in Hot Springs. Stop by today. Red River Marine.
Dollar Sheet Metal on Highway 70 West urges everyone to support the Wolves this football season, or 767-6250. Good luck, Wolves, from Dollar Sheet Metal Company, Highway 70 West.
All right, the Bearcats come up first and 10 at their own 18-yard line. Slot right, and back to the right as well. Quick looking pass and batted down once again for the Lake Hamilton Wolves. Wade Atchison got his big paws on that one and kind of upset he wasn't able to pull it down. Wade Atchison, a linebacker, is 210, stands 6 foot tall, very aggressive. So second and 10 from the 18 now. As wide to the near side of the field comes 82 Keith Purefoy. Bearcats send the back in motion to the left side. Inside handoff. Here's the deep pitch to Davis. Fake to the fullback, and Davis is running for his life and finally takes it out of bounds. We'll lose a couple of more yards back close to the 15-yard line. And I tell you what, the Wolves had that one covered all the way.
You have to feel for quarterback Andrew McDaniel from Mena. That time he had Wade Atchison and also Billy Roden bearing down on him, and he did all he could do was try to survive and then go ahead and pitch the ball. If they keep running their option play, you're going to look for that ball to definitely fumble and Lake Hamilton maybe pick one up for the night's over.
Exactly. 3-yard loss. Ball just outside the 15-yard line. On third down, they'll send 2 receivers wide to the near side. Single coverage on them. As McDaniel drops and rolls to the right side. Chased by Billy Roden. He'll finally get it off. It'll be picked off. Jeff Murders inside the 20. Heading for the end zone. And touchdown. He got it about the 25-yard line and knew what to do with it as he took it to pay dirt, and the Wolves are on the board now, 19-0.
Well, you mentioned Jeff Murders a while ago, and it is great to see him get involved in the action. I watched him a lot in the JV games last year. He's a good receiver, and that time he did a good job of breaking on the football instead of, a defensive back has got to play the receiver, but when the ball's thrown, you then start playing the ball. Good break, great play, Jeff Murders.
Jason Puckett out of the hole to Brock Lyons. from the snap of James Rogers. This time it all looks good, and the sidewinder puts it through. 9:14 to go, and it's all of a sudden happening pretty quick as the Lake Hamilton Wolves lead the Bearcats of Mena by a score of 20-0. This is Wolf Football on KXOW.
B&C Grocery and Shell Station at 2070 Airport Road is your one-stop shop grocery and Shell Station at 2070 Airport Road. Go Wolves, go!
Well, Tommy, we talked last week about one of the strengths of Lake Hamilton would have to be the pressure kind of defense, and right now McDaniel is getting no time. They know they have to throw the football some. He's getting zero time to do it, resulting in 2 straight interceptions. There's a short kick by Waite. Bounce. Davis corrals it at the 11, 15, and retreats and down at about the 12-yard line. Good pursuit. Murders was down there and trying to pick up some. Atchison was also there. And one more Wolf, it looked like that 82, or who was that down there?
Alex Harris was the first down to trip him up, and George Leach just handed me the stat. Lake Hamilton scored twice now in the last 45 seconds.
Not bad. We'll see if they can keep the average up.
We need to go check and see who's running that clock down there. I can't believe there's 9 minutes left in this first half.
You know, a lot of missed passes, of course. That stops the clock. And a lot of plays have gone out of bounds. Slot, right and right. Rolling left. McDaniel, he's got pressure. He'll loop it out. This will be complete this time to Purefoy. And he'll pick up the first down up at about the 27-yard line. And finally, a bit of offensive success for the Bearcats. McDaniel just threw that one on the run, though.
Wide open receiver that time, and Chris Eastman did make him pay after reception, but a lot of cushion on the corner.
Give credit, though, to Jeremiah Brewer was the receiver over there. 1st and 10 from the 27-yard line. Gain of about 14 on the play. Slotted in right side. Ball to the far side hash marker. There's a deep pitch. Davis. He'll be stuck in the backfield for about a yard loss and did well to not make it 3 or 4 as he gets back to the 25-yard line. We saw Aiken and Atchison, or Aiken, and also number 56, that Henthorne in there, and others.
Tim Kohler came in from the outside linebacker position, did a good job, but he did not break down, and he missed the tackle. And as you mentioned, Atkin and Henthorne finished off the play.
All right, now here is where Mena has gotten in trouble. 2nd down and long yardage to go. A definite throwing situation here for McDaniel, and 2 out of the 3 last passes have been picked off. Steps up, short drop. Intended receiver was number 80, Tony Harris, had not yet turned around at the 33-yard line. Went right through his hands, was unable to react to that, and he had to pay once again. I believe it was Kevin Hopkins that gave him a good pop.
Well, 2nd and long is tough on any offense, but with Mena not having any speed and not a great passing attack, Lake Hamilton can really just come hard on defense. Plus, they don't have that speed guy that they can hand off on the draw.
7:39 to go in the half. Lake Hamilton leading 20-0. 3rd down at about 13 to go. McDaniel rolls left, has some blocking out in front of him. It breaks down. He's chased from behind. Finally will get it off. Up the sideline. Interception again. Is that Harris? He's going for the touchdown. We'll get to about the 2. Fumbles into the end zone. And touchdown.
Matt Wade on the interception, and that's Wade Atchison recovering the ball in the end zone for a touchdown for Lake Hamilton.
Lake Hamilton, 3 turnovers, turning into 3 touchdowns here in the 3rd quarter, or 2nd quarter. This seems like the 3rd quarter, surely. 7:25 to go yet here in the first half. And this is the way it's been the last 3 years, pretty much. Lake Hamilton has done it very offensively in the last 3 years. Here's the kick up by Puckett, and we have 27 points on the board. And that's what Lake Hamilton totaled last week against Bryant. But tonight, it's defense that's doing it all. The Lake Hamilton Wolves leading the Mena Bearcats 27-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Busy Bee's Restaurant, located at 70 West at Lake Hamilton High School. Busy Bee serves breakfast starting at 7 a.m. with lunch at 11 and dinner at 7, Monday through Friday, and on 70 West at Lake Hamilton School.
Well, as always, we'd like to urge you to go out and support our sponsors, go by and say something nice to the people like at Busy Bees or my good friend Robert Thompson and some of the others that you hear on the broadcast, and tell them you appreciate. I hope you do. Lake Hamilton Wolf football on KXOW will be here all season long, and should the Wolves, and hopefully they will make it to the playoffs, will continue on, and who knows, Tommy, we might be at War Memorial Stadium in about 12 weeks like we were last year. Here's the kickoff by Wake. He's just pressuring this thing. End over end, squibs around, picked up at the 15, 20, and plowed under at about the 22-yard line. I believe that was Davis again. And
Chris Eastman there for the tackle, and you would guess James Rogers is right behind him. Two of the best going downfield for Lake Hamilton on kickoff.
All right, they're going to give him the 22-yard line. And the Bearcats coaching staff is over there scratching their heads a little bit, trying to figure out what to do. It's obvious to see what the problem is. It's that big, strong defensive line and linebacking core for Lake Hamilton that's putting all kinds of pressure on his team. Slotted in left. McDaniel inside, handoff to the fullback, and holy cow, is number 41, Brian Wyman, snowed under. Maybe a yard loss on that play. They're going to give him a 2-yard loss now. 2nd and 12 coming up.
Said hello that time to Steve Moore and also Billy Roden, and George just told me that Lake Hamilton scored 3 times in 2 minutes and 50 seconds.
The average has lost a little bit here. Let's see if we can pick up the pace. 6:30 to go here in the half. Wide out to the left side of the field is Schulte. He has 1 reception here tonight. Takes to the fullback. Now he gives off to the fullback. And Wyman will pick up maybe a yard on that play. 3rd down and 11 coming up. The Bearcats at their own 22-yard line.
You mentioned War Memorial Stadium. Wouldn't it be great to go back there again? But if we can, we've got the next best thing. It's a brand new press box facility here at Lake Hamilton.
They have done us proud, haven't they? Wide out to the short side of the field is 82 Purifoy. Slot is back to the left. Stand-up pass, looking in, now over the middle, and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver, Purifoy, up at about the 44-yard line. And that'll run the Bearcats out of bounds, and they'll have to punt it away. So for the first time in a while, there has not been an interception for a touchdown.
I was looking for an opportunity to get on our good buddy Carl Coons, who missed that touchdown recovery a while ago. He gave it to Chris Eastburn instead of Wade Atkinson, but just got a note from Carl. And get a second here, Bob. Maybe you can read the results of the Owens Road Mile.
Oh, yes. All right, Davis will go back to kick it away. He's inside his 10-yard line. Mitten and Sheets back at about midfield. Low snap is picked up. A good driving kick. Will send Sheets back to his 40. Picks up a block from Mitten, 45, and up to about the 49-yard line. So 5:23 remaining here in the half, and the Wolves are setting up shop now and ready to put this one away if it isn't already. Congratulations, by the way, to the winners of the Owens Road Mile this past Monday. The winners, Lake Hamilton winners, were junior high boys Randy Fox, junior high girls Sarah Ustrowski, senior boys on the new course record, by the way, was Matt Ferguson, 4:30.6, broke his old record of last year. The girls' new course record was set by Natalie Allball, 5:29.9, beating her old record by 11 and a half seconds. And I'll have some more information on cross country in just a moment. Wolves wide out to either side. We have a flag and a reception by Greer inside the 40, 35, and down to about the 33-yard line. And apparently where that one was thrown, this play will probably come back next Saturday. The Lake Hamilton cross country team will be participating in the Ouachita Baptist University Invitational. Racing start at about 9:30 in the morning. And they say next Saturday, is that tomorrow? We got this from Coach Carl.
Should be probably in the morning, I would guess. And Coach Coos does an outstanding job with cross country. One name missing from that list, one of the Lake Hamilton's best girl distance runners, is Jennifer Allball. And he held Jennifer out intentionally for the race. He did not want her running that on the asphalt.
Okay, the Wolves will lose 5 on the motion penalty. It'll be 1st and 15 at their own 44-yard line. Greer, who had that reception wiped away, will come wide to the open side of the field, joined there by Rogers. Wide out also to the opposite side. Here's the inside handoff to the fullback, Chris Eastburn, and this time they were kind of looking for it. Eastburn, though, will power his way up for about 3 to 4 yards, and it will be a second down at about 12 coming up here for the Wolves. And was that Cubby McElrath in there instead? So sophomore. We also had another number. Tim Pate was in there at running back. So we're starting to see some reserves here late in the first half of play. 4:02 to go here in the first half. 27-0. Lake Hamilton in the lead. 3 straight interceptions for touchdowns. Here's the deep pitch on the reverse. Matt Waite, 50. Got a clip probably, and the flag goes down as he'll get close to the first down marker at the 41-yard line, but that flag flew at the midfield strike. It's got to be, they're going to call it a hold against Lake Hamilton. So the good run, so we've had 2 first downs picked up, and both for naught, as the Wolves will retreat 15, and this ball will go back inside the 40-yard line somewhere.
Unfortunately, because you go back a couple plays, Philip Greer really did make a nice catch on a ball thrown behind him down the middle. And Matt Waite on the option play that time made a real good move back to the inside and a nice run. All going to be wiped out due to the penalty.
Marks about 10 yards from the infraction at midfield, and the ball will be squarely atop the 40-yard line. So it's a second down and 19 to go situation as Waite comes out, and a 6'3" Tim Pate goes in there to run at tailback. Damon Sheets into the ball game. He'll come wide to the left side, and Greer goes wide out to the right side. Inside handoff looked like Harris has the ball and does for about 10 yards to near midfield. We had either the tight end, and that's where Sheets had lined up, or that left tackle was in motion. But David Roberts, by the way, on the tackle that time for the Mena Bearcats. David Roberts for the Lake Hamilton Wolves is into the ball game and was in motion that time apparently. So 5 more yards will be marked off, and this is not what Jerry Clay likes to see. You know, he is running some second stringers in there right now, and quite a few of them, but he surely would like to see them execute a little better than that.
Well, that's right. There are a lot of players coming in and out, but Lake Hamilton has had several penalties, even in the first quarter.
3 minutes to go in the first half. Now we look at a second down and 24 situation. Pumps once, reception, and dropped. And that time, Bo Mitten, who had it up about midfield, wanted to run before he tucked it away and just lost the handle. The pass is incomplete. 3rd and 24 coming up now for the Wolves.
Should have been called a low throw. Bo did a good job of going down and getting it. And I believe you're right. After he made the catch, he then looked up, and then the ball got away from him.
Back into the ball game is Waite, and also that Etheridge that went in there, I believe it was. Mitten wide out right side. Puckett out of the ball game. Slot right. On 3rd and long yardage. Here's the deep pitch. Waite on the right side. And he'll pick up about 10. Shakes a few tacklers loose and gets his way up to about the 42-yard line. And Lake Hamilton will have an opportunity to punt Mena deep into their end of the field with 2.5 minutes to go. In the first half, you're leading 27-0.
Matt Waite was able to get to the corner, and he literally ran through 4 tackles on that play.
And Waite will now kick it away. Davis drops off inside his own 15-yard line. 4th down at about 13 yards to go here, and the Wolves will kick it away. Got a lot of second stringers in on that series. Here's a high floater. Davis will come up at the 19, 20, and completely and totally swarmed under at the 21-yard line. There's a whole host of Wolves. I see Eastburn was down there. Trying to identify some of the others. Lethbridge was in there, and who else but James Rogers was flying down there to assist on the tackle. Ball just outside the 20-yard line. With just inside 2 minutes to go here in the ball game, the Bearcats would do well to try to run out this clock.
Can't give James Rogers enough credit. He's a deep snapper, makes good snaps, and boy, he really does go aggressively down the field.
0-4, wide out short side of the field. Bearcats moving left to right as we view it. McDaniel, deep hand off to Davis. Davis will make maybe a yard out of nothing there to the 21. As we approach the 1.5-minute mark, I believe Lake Hamilton has but 1 timeout remaining. They had to burn one of them on the first point after attempt.
Bob, you can see a tired ball player, number 44, Reuben Davis, their main offensive weapon, also a big key player for them on defense. And you can see it's beginning to wear on him here in the first half.
End of a yard from the 21, second down and 9 yards to go as the Bearcats are using just about all of that 25-second play clock as they possibly can. A minute 3, minute 2 in motion. We have a flag on the play. Pitch out deep to Davis, turning the left side. He'll pick up about 4, 5, 6 yards as he has the Bearcats up to around the 27-yard line. There's a foul flag thrown in the offensive backfield. So apparently this play will come back as well. And of course, the penalty stops the clock.
For years, Murray Chevrolet has been
Lake Hamilton.
Satisfaction is always guaranteed at Murray
The
Chevrolet.
only bad part of that, if you accept that penalty, that gives them yet another down. I almost sound greedy here. You're leading 27-0, totally dominating the ball game, but Nick Clay would like to put this one away in the first half. It'd be nice to have that score.
I'm really surprised that they took that penalty because, as you mentioned, it gives them a down. Otherwise, it would have been third down. Now, Mena can just about run out the clock if they choose to do that.
I'm trying to remember because we had the one timeout that we never did know if it was awarded to Lake Hamilton because it came right at the end of the first quarter of play. So they either have 1 or 2 timeouts remaining, and the clock is moving now with 38 seconds to go here. I'm sure Lake Hamilton would like to see him do is put the ball in the air. I doubt the Bearcats will do that. Rolling left and looking is the quarterback, McDaniel. He'll run out of bounds up at about the 24-yard line. Will leave him a good 6-7 yards shy of a first down. That's what he didn't want to do, is stop the clock by running out of bounds.
I don't know if that's what McDaniel wanted to do, but I know that's not what Coach Burns wanted. He would have rather stayed in bounds, so now they're going to, of course, I'm about to mess up on downs again. Now it's third down. I was about to take one away from him.
He saw Chris Eastburn coming at him, and that's why he got out of bounds. Third down, 7 yards to go from the 24-yard line with 23 seconds to go here. The Bearcats come up. They'll send Schulte wide to the open side of the field. And Wyman has a flanker wide right as well. Rolling left is McDaniel. Looking. He'll throw it. Intercepted again. This one will be brought back, though, to the 37-yard line because the knee was on the turf. And on the reception, who was that? Was it Aiken?
A 48, that's David Roberts.
Well, I tried to put David on the Bearcat team a while ago. 13.7 seconds remaining. And what will Lake Hamilton... I have to think they're going to go for the end zone here.
Well, the clock should start back up. It'll be interesting to see. Well, they're going to be at the line of scrimmage. They've got time to run one play.
All right, they'll go for the end zone on this one, undoubtedly. Wide out and slot both to the right side as they can make that. Adams goes under center. They'll go to a straight handoff with, is that Roberts or Wade in there? Roberts on the carry, picks up about 4 yards, and Lake Hamilton says 27 at halftime, probably ought to do it. We're at halftime finally, and it's taken us almost an hour to get there. As the Lake Hamilton Wolves are totally dominating, as expected, the Mena Bearcats by a score of 27-0. Tonight's halftime guest, by the way, will be Lake Hamilton School Superintendent Don Henson. They're going to be giving you some information. There's, of course, a big vote coming up here on Tuesday on a millage question, and what Mr. Henson will be doing here is try to explain why the vote is being taken, what the money would be used for, and try to better educate you on the situation. Halftime score again, Lake Hamilton 27, the Mena Bearcats nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Hey fans, football season is here, and Robert L. Thompson and company would like to...
Well, you know, we've dominated the Bearcats for the last several years, and Lake Hamilton is a AAA school that's playing like a 4A or 5A school, and Mena looks like a AA team tonight.
Next week at the Lakeside.
That's a good point. Lakeside has their hands full with Hot Springs, I'm sure, tonight. They'll be ready for us next week. That's a big game for them.
That game is played at Holt Field, by the way, tonight, and our game next week will be over at Austin Field. So, as I was alluding to earlier, if you're listening to this ball game, you plan to go to next week's game as thousands of people will be doing. You better get there early because the seating capacity there is probably half of what we have here.
Absolutely, and it'll be a ball game that everybody will want to be at. It's always a big rivalry with Lakeside.
All right, George, you're trying to put together all the statistics at half, and we'll look forward to those at the end of the half. George Lease, and we're just about set in just a moment to talk with our halftime cast, Superintendent of Lake Hamilton Schools, Don Henson. I just want to mention one thing that if you've never been to a game where the Mena Bearcats played, one of the unusual things that Mena does, their band is one of the last marching bands that you're going to see anywhere. Their band director strongly believes in precision marching, and it's a lot of fun to really watch. So the next time the Mena Bearcats are in your area, I hope that you'll go out and enjoy a great halftime show. Again, we're at halftime. Don Henson is coming in just a moment. Lake Hamilton Wolves lead the Bearcats of Mena by a score of 27-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Jimmy Brown's Body Shop has been...
We're back at halftime. Bob Clements along with Tommy and Edmund, and our thanks again to Superintendent Don Henson for the halftime show here tonight. And we have a few statistics here before we get things started. 27-0 as our score. It mainly was done by defense. You're not going to see a whole lot of offensive yardage here. Lake Hamilton 132 yards total. Mena's 38 yards. And only 6 first downs for Lake Hamilton. Mena has 2. And Coach Tiger Jordan has joined us here. And Coach, apparently we're going to try to capitalize on some of the things that we do successfully. And Chris Eastburn was outstanding running the football. We're going to see more of that in the second half.
We definitely are going to see much more of that in the second half because we've got to establish the run going into the conference and get ready for a big season of a strong opponent. So that's what we're going to establish tonight. We're going to work on the running game.
Okay. Defensively, you can't find anything wrong with the defense. I mean, they are as aggressive as I've ever seen them. They're playing the pass much better tonight. Of course, the pressure that McDaniel is getting from that fearsome front of Lake Hamilton is causing some of these 3 interceptions.
Well, our defensive line is doing a good job shutting down the run, which we were hoping they would tonight, so we knew they were going to go to the air. And, of course, we were very fortunate being in some good positions when the quarterback threw the ball to us on several occasions. We had 1 or 2 people right there, and we just happened to come down with it, I think, 3 times. So they are playing more aggressive.
One thing I'm sure you don't like to see is in the penalties, 6 for 43 yards here in the first half.
Those 6 can be corrected, I promise you that. And Coach Clay's going to harp on that in the practice this week, early in the week, and then get off of it late because he wants to build their confidence back up and get the guys ready to play football.
All right, Mena's finally out on the field. Any final comments? We're not going to see any surprises. I'm sure leading with this big margin at halftime, we're not going to show anything to anybody in preparation for next week.
No, we're not. I tell you, probably if we do what we did the first half, probably late in the third quarter, you'll see all our reserves starting to play. Coach Clay doesn't want to risk getting anyone hurt.
Again, Coach Tiger Jordan, we thank you and appreciate the comments here.
Thanks, Bob.
Coach Tiger Jordan, he's back to his perch high above Wolf Stadium here to direct the troops on the sidelines as we're ready to kick off here to start the third quarter of play. Things are going to be a little ragged here. I've lost my monitor and have to do things a little bit different here. So Tommy, you kind of be alert for that as we're ready to start the third quarter here. Lake Hamilton, total domination on defense. As we saw, Mena only get 38 yards total offense, 2 first downs. Passing, by the way, 3 of 9 for Ty Adams for 32 yards and 1 for 12 for McDaniel for 14 net yards. Punting, each of the punters, Davis and Wade, have averaged 36 yards on their punting. And Lake Hamilton has put 100 yards rushing, and as Coach Tiger Jordan said, we'll see a whole lot more ground offense here in the second half. Short kick taken by one of the upbacks. Looks like Hopkins has a big hole up the middle. He's cutting outside and is finally shoestring tackled at the 44-yard line by Davis. And if Davis hadn't got him, he would have ran for a while, Tommy.
Well, we mentioned Reuben Davis just for the first half. He looks like a tired ball player. He's having to do it all for Mena. And one of the keys, Bob, looking at George Leach's stats, Davis had 10 carries for 4 net yards. Gained 21 on 6 carries. Lost 17 on 4 carries, so that's been the key to shutting down the Mena offense.
Wolves will go to the wishbone for the first time tonight. Pitch right side. Matt Wade has blockers in front. He has 5. Cannon down the sideline. Cuts back to the middle and finally will go down at about the 37-yard line as pursuit comes from behind. Nice run and the first play from the wishbone tonight.
Jonathan Gathright saved the touchdown for Mena that time, but nice cut back and run by Matt Wade.
Ball put down between the 37 and 38 yard lines. The Wolves once again in the Bearcat territory. They'll stay with the wishbone set. Wait. Got Harris in there and also Eastburn. Here's the pitch. Harris will come to the left side this time, and he'll pick up good yardage, lowers his shoulder, and a couple of more down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, and he'll be close to a first down as well. Inside 11 minutes to go here, third quarter. Lake Hamilton will try to grind it out and establish, because really in 6 quarters so far this season, we haven't really seen them establish the running attack. Again, the wishbone on third and about a yard and a half. Pitch right. Wait, has the first down and more, and he may go for the score. Will be finally swarmed under at about the 10-yard line, and the Wolves are laying the ears back and pounding it out here.
So you can certainly see now the size disadvantage that Mena is at. The offensive line is taking control, and also some good lead blocking by the offensive backs. And Matt's a very punishing runner at over 200 pounds.
Put the ball down at the 11-yard line. And for the first time, we'll see a receiver that's mitten into the ball game, wide out left, but they still have the wishbone behind Adams. Still option down the line, still has the ball, and finally pitches it late. It's on the ground. Harris picks it up, retreats, and will go down at about the 14-yard line. That did not look good.
No, it didn't. Matt Wade, though, Bob, on 2 carries at 18 yards on both carries.
Loss of about 4 yards. Second down and 14 to go. They can get a first down inside the 1-yard line. They're into the ball game. Mitten now with a play from Coach Terry Clay. There will go wide out left side. Ball pretty much squared up in the middle of the field. 9:45 to go third quarter. 27-0 Lake Hamilton. Pitch right side. Wait. Cuts back out. And we'll get back close to the original line of scrimmage. That play looked like it might work for a little better yardage than it did. And the Davis, yes. Davis, the workhorse offensively and defensively. By the way, there are 7 players from Mena that have to go both ways.
And we're having to call Reuben Davis' name quite a bit. He made a good tackle that time. Matt made a good move back to the inside, but Davis was able to hang on and bring Matt Waite down.
Ball at the 12. Gain of a couple. It's turned at about 11 yards to go here. Let's see if they might throw out of this wishbone here. Takes the pitch, back to pass, into the end zone. Leverage, touchdown, but there is a flag at the line of scrimmage on the opposite side of the field. And they're going to wave this one off and bring it back.
A nice throw by Ty Adams and a good catch that time by Bobby Leverage. Unfortunately, it will be brought back. There was movement on the right side of the offensive line.
I tell you, 3 of 9 in that first half for Ty Adams is very deceptive. We saw at least 2 balls dropped that should have been caught. A couple more called back because of penalties, and he really had a decent first half throwing the football, though the numbers do not show it. Was a motion call against Lake Hamilton, a loss of 5. We'll take the ball back to about the 16-yard line. We'll see more of a passing set come in as Rogers, Hinton, and I believe Greer comes into the ball game. Inside 9 minutes to go. Inside 5 minutes on the play clock, and they'll have to burn a timeout here. They do. 8:56 to go, third quarter play. Lake Hamilton with a third down and 16 to go situation at the Bearcat 16-yard line. Our score, Lake Hamilton 27, Mena nothing. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Red River Marine at 3034 Albert Pike has fishing boats and bass boats by Procraft, Waco, Spectrum, and Fisher. Pleasure boats by Bayliner, Four Winds, and Crown Line. Pontoon boats by Harris Float Boat. Aloha.
Located at 7 Busy Bees Restaurant, 70 West at Lake Hamilton School.
At Wolf Stadium, 3rd and 16. Adams under center, rolls left, has plenty of time. Slips on a 1 tackle, will go into the end zone. Almost touchdown or not? Yes, what a catch by James Rogers. As cutting in front of him was 83 Craig Ferguson. I thought Ferguson might have been able to intercept that one. But great concentration by James Rogers to pull that one in.
I'm like you. I thought the ball was going to be intercepted. Then I thought the ball was just knocked down. But James Rogers came up with that. Ty got hit as he threw the ball, and that's why it was thrown short. But a great TD reception by James Rogers.
Second to attempt the point after from the hole, the Buck Lions. And Rogers high snap, gets it down and puts it up and through. Well, the only bar on the scoreboard right now would be the first missed extra point by Wes Henthorne in the first quarter. We take a timeout, 8 minutes and 44 seconds to go here in the third quarter play. Lake Hamilton rolls, leading the Mena Bearcats by a score of 34-0. You're listening to Wolf Football on KXOW.
Dollar Sheet Metal on Highway 70 West urges everyone to support the Wolves this football season. Dollar.
All right, Matt White has done a lot of kicking tonight, but Tommy, he has not kicked off the way he would like to and what he was accustomed to last year.
Yeah, he definitely is pressing a little bit. It really not even come close to getting the ball in the end zone in the air.
This was a little squib kick. Hits at about the 25. Will be picked up at the 20, 25, and up close to the 30-yard line. Comes a Mena Bearcat with a football, and they have their best field position in quite some time.
Sophomore, number 20, Cubby McElrath, came down that time for Lake Hamilton and made the tackle on the kickoff.
So about one more touchdown, and we might see it even earlier than that. We'll start seeing reserves, and then by the time the fourth quarter gets there, it'll be en masse. It'll be total confusion, too, in trying to get some of these names on the air, which we will, of course, attempt to do so. Shelty wide out to the open side of the field as McDaniel goes first and 10 from the 30. Options down the line. Gives off to his fullback, and a big log jam at the line of scrimmage will net nothing for number 41 from the Bearcats, Brian Wyman.
Bob, the Lake Hamilton scoring drive, 54 yards on 6 plays, 3 minutes and 16 seconds on the clock, 37 yards rushing, 17 passing, and of course the 17 came from Ty Adams passing and a great catch by James Rogers.
Everybody's getting into the act tonight. A really nice way to distribute the honors. End of the yard, 2nd and 9. McDaniel. Options down the line, now steps back to pass, will go down the sideline and over the head of the intended receiver, Purifoy, after the midfield strike. Well covered on the play by Eastburn and also Todd Aiken.
See Brock Lyons warming up on the sideline. I'd be very surprised to see the first offensive unit come back at all, unless perhaps Lake Hamilton gets the ball in poor field position.
3rd down and 9. 3rd and 9. Bearcats is to the 31-yard line. Schulte wide to the open side again. He'll be joined out there as a flanker by Wyman. Rolling right and pitching finally. Davis gets it. He'll be swarmed under inside the 25-yard line. Right after McDaniel delivered, he was creamed. And then as soon as Davis got the ball, converging on him was Aiken. Looked like Henthorne was in there. Might have been Steve Moore as well.
McDaniel's really taking some punishment trying to run the option play. That time he got to meet one of the best linemen in the state, Billy Roden.
All right, back to receive the punt, Bowman and Damon Sheets. Stand back at the Lake Hamilton 45-yard line. Davis is kind of wondering where he is right now. He's been hit from every direction. Good snap. He'll get the line drive kickoff and faces Minton. He catches it on the fly at the 39, 40, 45, and the little guy still on his feet at the 50, and down he goes at the Mena 47-yard line.
Both fumbled a couple of punt returns, but that was a very difficult ball to catch, Bob. A line drive that was going away from Bo. Great reception on that one.
From the 47-yard line, and you're right, Brock Lyons comes in to direct the offense. Looks like Puckett will be in there as one of the receivers, and Tommy, you just help me try to pick up some of these people. Is that McElrath in there also? One of them is Roberts. Lyons still with the football, scrambling around, will lose a couple of yards at the line of scrimmage. Payne is in there at tailback. I believe Roberts is running at fullback right now.
Fumble snap that time is what forced a loss on the play, and I don't know if this is a break for Mena or not, because I've got a feeling that Lake Hamilton's first unit would have probably been more conservative, and I'm sure Brock Lyons is going to want to put that ball up there.
Justin Gray into the ball game. Coming out of the ball game is Puckett. Lyons under center, and again we're going to try to tell you how is into the ball game as well. Lyons with the option, 50-45, has the first down the sidelines at about the 36-yard line. He may have been hit out of bounds here by, looked like the guilty party could have been 34, and if it was, it was Jody Rogers. If that's the call, it'll be 15 more yards and take this ball down to the 20-yard line.
Good run on the option by Brock Lyons. Definitely a late hit out of bounds. And also they laid out that time. Coach Howard Leatherwood got hit on the sideline. So I'm sure he's going to hear about that all week.
Howard's my neighbor. We're going to have to talk about that one. 5:41 as the play goes out of bounds. The clock is stopped there. Lake Hamilton again scoring at will here, 34-0. And they did it again mostly with the defense tonight. 3 interceptions in the second quarter of play, all resulted in touchdowns. All right, they're marking off the additional 15-yard penalty, and the ball will go to the 20-yard line. So this second string offense is set to try to punch this one on in. Also into the ball game, 25, Kerry Kilby. He'll come wide out to the short side of the field. We have apparently Kilby lined up in the neutral zone as he shook his head. Lake Hamilton will start 5 yards farther away from the Mena goal line.
Oh, Coach Leatherwood was really receiving some ribbon on the sideline that time. I can even hear Coach Jordan in the other booth over there congratulating Coach Leatherwood, but I think every player on the team is getting on him down there right now.
Now Daniel Sams is in the ball game. Also in the game is 55, Eric Cooper. Lions on 1st and 15 from the 25. Thanks to the fullback, still has the ball, rolling right side, has the 5 yards back to the original line of scrimmage. We have a flag emphatically thrown at the play way back toward the line. You have to believe it's going to be a holding call, and it is against Lake Hamilton. And the Lake Hamilton Wolves have piled up a few yards of offense, but they're piling up a few yards of penalties here tonight, too. They have to be somewhere at 43 yards in the first half and have to be somewhere around 70 by now. So the holding call will move the ball back to the 32-yard line. They have to make the 10 for the first down. So it'll be 1st and 22. I slot right. Pitch near side is Pate, trying to turn to left side. Gets a block from Roberts, and will pick up about 8 yards down to around the 22-yard line. Good job by Roberts clearing the hole.
Sure was a good job of turning upfield that time by Tim Pate, and look for Brock Lyons to put that ball up in the air in the next couple plays.
All right, 25 back into the ball game again, and that's Kilby. Out will come Howe. We do have some new guys on that line, and we'll try to identify them here in a moment. Second down at about 13 to go. Straight drop. Steps back. Now he'll deliver. Brock Lyons, and we'll see a pass interference call. Intended receiver out there. I believe that was number 27, Ross Humphrey. And over his back, that might have been Davis down there.
Ross Humphrey, I was getting ready to say, 2 guys
Pop from behind. So it'll be a walk-off. Major penalty, half the distance to the goal line. And I believe in high school football, that is an automatic first down. It doesn't have to be, as the ball will be stepped off inside the 10-yard line, so it is a first down. Not right and right. Lions, we have another penalty. Deep handoff to Pate. Pate will get down to about the 5-yard line, but it looks like the Wolves will have to make this one even more difficult. Where we had Pate in motion that time as he was anticipating the count a little too quick.
Looked like a little movement possibly again on the left side of the line this time. Maybe by 58, Stacy Roberts got a little eager that time.
Ball marked back to the 13-yard line, so 1st and goal now from the 13. Into the ball game once again is number 55, and that's Eric Cooper. Also in now is number 17, Chris Hoover. This will go in as, looks like a tight end on the left side. Wide out right side, I believe that's Humphrey over there. Slot right. Goal to go from the 13-yard line. Pitch to Pate, left side, inside the 10. Cuts back close to the 5-yard line. And the Wolves are smelling pay dirt once again, leading 34-0, but still almost 4 minutes to go here in the third quarter, Tommy.
Mena trying very hard to get to the outside and prevent Lake Hamilton from being able to turn the corner, but in doing that, they're leaving a big hole for Tim Pate to turn back inside.
Back in is Kerry Kilby. Out comes Humphrey. is Brian Lumen. Goal to go from the 5-yard line. Deep handoff left side. Here comes Pate turning his way close to the 1 or 2-yard line. Left side of that line opening a good hole that time for Pate to run through. And looking at some of those numbers down there, 58 is in, and that's Stacy Roberts. Ball is at the 2-yard line. Brock Lyons up to the line. 57, Tracy Roberts in the ball game on the right side of that line. Goal to go from the 2. Deep pitch. Pate on the right side. Cuts back in, and I think he's going to be a little bit short. Touchdown! Late call from the official, but finally rung up there, and point number 40 is on the board. Despite the penalties, not a bad-looking march by that second-string offensive unit. So I mentioned a while ago, I didn't know if Mena was going to get a break because, the second unit wants an opportunity to play, and Brock Lyons is going to make the best of his opportunity to get in the ball game. So they may not have been doing a favor by letting the second unit come in on offense. Puckett to attempt the point after out of the hole of Brock Lyons from the snap of James Rogers. 2:45 is when that came here in the third quarter. Half is down, kick is up, and once again good. 2:45 to go here in the third quarter of play, and our score, Lake Hamilton leading the Mena Bearcats by a score of 41-0. This is Wolf Football on KXOW Hot Springs.
Dollar Sheet Metal on Highway 70 West urges everyone to support the Wolves this football season. Dollar Sheet Metal
On the night so far, as Wade will try to kick it off again here. This one will go deep. The 21-yard line. Looked like that was 21 Chris Clark into the ball game now to spell Davis a little bit. It was Clark, and the 21-yard line is where the Bearcats will take over first and 10 here. And Kelly McElrath was down there to put the stop on Mr. Clark. Ball to the near side hash mark. The Bearcats move left to right as we view it. We'll start seeing some second-string defensive players get into the ball game. Chris Eastburn and Hopkins are out. Some of the same names we saw on offense, like Hoover is in the ball game. Burgers comes out. Staying in there is Justin Gray, Rogers, and the Bearcats will take time out here. Okay, we're going to hold it right here for just a moment. We never had a chance to recap that scoring drive. And again, Tommy, the only negative thing was the number of penalties, but pretty impressive that they were able to overcome those penalties and push the ball in for a score. 47-yard drive, 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the clock, 32 on the ground. Of course, 15 on a penalty against Mena. But Brock Lyons, you come out and watch him play on Monday nights in the JV games. He likes to run the football, does a good job of the option, and he can also throw the ball. So a good job by the second unit. Never did ask, did we have a big game this past Monday? Or do we know? They did not play here, and I really can't give you the information on that. In the first game, by the way, if you haven't heard by now, they defeated Pine Bluff, and that's a pretty good feather in your cap. Consistently one of the best teams in the state of Arkansas in any classification. Of course, they are a 4A team. Bearcats from the 21-yard line. McDaniel under center. Turns, hands off to his eye back, and here comes Clark, and he's got a first down way out to the 40-yard line. So Davis has been pounded and pounded and pounded all night long. Reuben gets a breather here, and Clark in his first carry has about 20 yards close to the 41-yard line. I was getting ready to mention Reuben Davis. He normally returns the kickoffs also, and I'm sure that Coach Bunch is going to take him out and save him for the remainder of the season. Chris Clark is a tailback, 5'11". He's a sophomore, 151 pounds, and knows what to do with the football. They'll go to him again. Fullback call this time, and nothing happening in the middle of that line. Maybe a loss on the play. Looks like we've got a lot of new numbers in there, Tommy. We'll try to Tracy Roberts is now in there on the defense. Also David Roberts. 55, Aaron Cooper, along with Tubby McElrath, both were in on that tackle. 71 is in the ballgame. That's Shane David. Loss of about a half yard. Second down and a long 10 to go. Got a new quarterback in, by the way, and carrying the football. And finally, a late pitch, and Clark will get close to the first down to the midfield stripe, and executing very well is number 12, Tim Clark. He is a sophomore quarterback. And I think one of the things that you mentioned is they may have to measure here, Tommy. They're right at the 50. They have to make the Lake Hamilton 49.5. And that last week they did play the Queen. They had to feel pretty good about that effort. Not close enough for the measurement. Third down and short. We'll come back to that thought in just a moment. Inside handoff to the fullback, and will not get it. In fact, probably you lose a yard. Depending upon where they said the forward momentum was stopped, they kind of rode him back a couple of yards into the backfield, but they will lose about a half yard, and it'll be fourth down and a yard to go. But, you know, they've written this ball game off at this point, obviously, and they've got to go back to reality and get ready to try to compete in their conference. Defeating the Queen, they know they can do that.
Well, the thing that made the difference, we'll comment on this right after the play.
All right, fourth down, obviously possession down here as the quarter comes to a close. Tommy?
Well, I was just going to say, the things that happened in the ball game, it was 6-0 for a while before Lake Hamilton started their scoring, and the defense intensity picked up, the interceptions, of course, for touchdowns, but then in the second half, it's just a matter of time before the huge size difference, and the offense started rolling, mostly on the ground, behind carries of Matt Waite. Of course, in the last drive, Tim Bate came in, had 26 yards on 4 carries, so Mena was definitely overmatched on paper, and it ended up that way also in the game.
Well, we're going to hold it right here because at the corner they just had to step across the midfield stripe, and Lake Hamilton's ready to go. Mena still in the huddle. As we begin the fourth quarter of play, midway through the third quarter, if you've just joined us, strictly reserves being used by Coach Jerry Clay at this point. Second string offense was able to move pretty much half of the football field and score. Mark Lyons executing very well at quarterback. He's a junior, and look forward to him next year. Fourth down and 1 to go. Clark under center. Deep handoff to the other Clark, and this one will be very close as 21 Chris Clark gets across the 50, close to the Lake Hamilton 49. As I line it up almost right in front of me, it looks like he has it. But will they bring on the sticks? Had to make just outside the 49-yard line, and it looks like the ball should be touching the 49, but they're going to make sure and bring, they're going to call it a first down. First and 10, Lake Hamilton 49-yard line. It's been a while since they've been on that side of the football field.
Bob, I believe he picked up the first down, but had it not been a 41-0 ball game, there would have been a measurement. I think the officials are very generous that time to decide to give Mena the first down.
Obviously. Second first down of the drive, by the way. Here's the deep pitch. Clark on the left side, cuts back in. Good running room as he'll get inside the 45 to about the 43 of Lake Hamilton. David Roberts coming up to make the stop with help from number 69, Spencer Dalrymple.
George Lee handed me some third quarter stats. Lake Hamilton 101 yards and 5 first downs. Mena 23 yards with 1 first down.
So 23 on top of the 38, so that's just, 61 in the ball game for Mena. Not right in right. On second down with about 4 yards to go. Clark fakes to the fullback. Ball is on the ground. Chris Clark trying to pick it up. Finally will fall on it. Back at the original line of scrimmage at the 49-yard line. And that time an ill-advised pitch by number 12, Tim Clark. Makes you kind of wonder, since they're both sophomores, that maybe they're twins or something. Tim and Chris Clark. Both of them 5'11", both of them 151 pounds. Now they'll face a third down at about 10 yards to go. Wide out right side, open field back to the left. Tim Clark under center. Fakes to the fullback, steps up, pops it over the middle. It is intercepted. Cubby McElrath to the 50, 45, 40, lowers the shoulder to the 30, and down he goes at the 29 of the Mena Bearcats. And one of your favorite kids, Cubby McElrath, makes the interception and a big return.
Well, there's a lot of good sophomores that own this football team this year. Damon Sheets getting a lot of action. pass receiving and returning punts, but Cubby McElrath has made a lot of big plays tonight. A good interception. He broke about 4 tackles on a return. Louis Hurd's another good sophomore. Several is coming up for Lake Hamilton, the juniors and seniors in the next couple of years. All right, some confusion in the offensive huddle waiting for Humphrey to get back out on the field. Inside 10 seconds to go on the play clock as Lyons brings his troops to the line of scrimmage. From the 29-yard line, Lyons, quarterback keeper left side. He's inside the 25, still churning to about the 23-yard line. We've seen Lyons execute well on the option on the corners, and that time he just tucked it up and picks up about 5. Cubby McElrath was 24 yards on that reception, so not only a good interception on the play, but a nice run after 59 into the ball game, and we do not have him on the roster, by the way.
Roger, bring him out. He's got
I hate to speculate, but it looks like Eddie Everidge.
Connor is running back.
Justin Gray, wide out left side, in the slot right, and in back to the right. Ball fumble picked up by quarterback Lyons, and he'll get back to the line of scrimmage before he is swarmed under there. So we'll see a third down and about 5 to go here for the second unit of the Lake Hamilton offense. Back in once again is Humphrey. Coming out of the ball game is Kilby. 8 minutes and 45 seconds to go in the ball game, and if you've just joined us, it's been all Wolves, 41-0 our score here. Total defensive domination. Fullback call. Right side is Roberts. He'll get down to about the 20-yard line, still leave him about 2, maybe 3 yards shy of the first down. Of course, Lake Hamilton will go on 4th and about 2 here. Bob, I'll have to apologize for number 59. That is not Eddie Everidge. Eddie Everidge is number 72, just now going into the ball game, so I don't know who 59 is. We may see a field goal attempt here, something that Lake Hamilton may have as they put Puckett into the ball game, something you may have to do later on down the season, so it's not running up the score so much, it's just trying to execute something here.
That's really the first.
Now they're going to get a delay of game here, too, as 1 second 0. They're not. It took about 2 seconds for that penalty to finally be called after the 25-second clock had expired. So if they're going to kick a field goal now, this is going to be one from about 38 yards. As they'll mark this one back, make that 43 yards. They'll put the ball down to 25. This will be a 43-yard field goal attempt by Jason Puckett. And he really will get a run at this ball. He's a good 5 yards behind Brock Lyons. Snaps down. Here's the kick. It'll be very close and a little bit short, right under the crossbar. So we know that 43 might be a little bit out of his range. I believe that kick would have been good from 38 yards. So the penalty made a big difference there. But, you know, the score is irrelevant at this time. And all Coach Jerry Clay wanted to see what will this field goal attempt look like, and it looked pretty good. And that shows me that Jason Puckett is very well capable of kicking the ball from 30 to 40 yards, and you don't see many over 40-yard field goals in high school football. And in high school football, on the missed field goal attempt, no matter where it's made from, will be put back down to the 20-yard line. That's where it is as the Bearcats come up, trailing 41-0, with still 7.5 minutes to go in the ball game. Tim Clark under center with apparently some movement or encroachment at the line. They're going to say this one is against Lake Hamilton. Looked like that hand on the left side is that 88. It is, that's Joey Hunter. 88 or 68 down there. I don't know if you call these numbers, Bob. Number 22, Brandon Ward in the ball game for Lake Hamilton. Also 24, Mark Ridgway. And number 40 is checked in. That's Chad Rogers. So it's a 5-yard mark-off against the Wolves. The second unit has piled up a few defensive penalties here. Chris Clark, the handoff on the slight delay, and he'll get up close to the 30-yard line. Will be just a little bit short, it looks like, of the first down. Nose of the ball almost touching the 30, so they might call this one a first down, and they do. Well, that time the officiating crew again signaled first down and started the clock before the chains were ever set. So they're trying to get this ball game over. Ball with an near side hash mark. Open field back to the right. Tim Clark. Still with the football. Rolls around the left side. Up the sideline. 50-yard line almost as he's run out of bounds at about the 48-yard line.
Picks up about 15 on that play, and a good run, and really good execution that time by quarterback Tim Clark, the sophomore.
Well, one of our cornerbacks that time took the inside fake, didn't stay outside. There was really no one on the corner.
David Gold is into the ball game as well. Trying our best to identify all of these new kids in there. I think you've already said Mark Ridgway is in there. He's cornerback on the left side. Inside handoff to the fullback, and coming up with a little bit of running room, it was Steve Quillen. Gain of about 7 yards. Nice run that time by the Bearcats. Ball just outside the Lake Hamilton 45-yard line.
Eric Luton made the tackle, and I'm not sure if we mentioned number 32, Deke Fitzhughes, also in the ball game.
Mike Rader is in there. Defensive secondary. Left side handoff. Chris Clark will get close to the first down. I believe he should have it at about the Lake Hamilton 42. 31 and 53 and 75. Who are they? 31 is Matt Olson. 53 is David Caruth. And 75 into the ball game. We do not have his number on the program. Also into the ball game and briefly coming out is Jason Hampshire. So we're getting way down in the third string now, I'm sure. Slot left and left, and I believe we have encroachment on the left side of that, make that right side of the defensive line. Guilty party for Lake Hamilton is David Gold. Coming out of the ball game is Mike Ferguson. May not get a ball. We're going to try here.
I believe we're pretty close now, Bob, to practically an all-sophomore team on the field.
First and 5 on the Lake Hamilton 37-yard line. 5.5 minutes to go. It'll be interesting as the deep handoff comes to Clark, and Clark will get back to about the 35-yard line, picks up 2. We'll have a second down. 13 penalties, 12 penalties now for 78 yards, and Mena, 13 for 83 according to George Lee. So the Lake Hamilton Wolves, especially here now in the second half, are beginning to pile it up. Would be, 40 yards here in the second half, 43 in the first. Well, it's really tough when you start digging for information like that to make it interesting. Fullback call that time, and number 20, Jason Hicks, met a wall, loses about a yard, back to the 36-yard line.
Ran into a big number 72, Eddie Average, 6'1", 300-pound sophomore.
Well, he said he did make it back to the 35, so it's a 3rd and 3 to go situation. And Schulte goes wide out, open side, that's the right side. Clark under center, rolling right, looking for a receiver. Will go downfield and in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. That ball should have been caught at about the Lake Hamilton 27, easily enough for a first down by Schulte. And I'm trying to remember reception tonight. This ball game has been one reception by Mena, and that's it.
That really was a good throw that time by number 12, Tim Clark. The ball just was dropped.
4th down and a good 3 to go at the Lake Hamilton 35. I guess you could say he's got 5 receptions tonight. The 4 of them have been by Lake Hamilton defenders. Slotted in back to the right side as the Mena Bearcats will try to keep this possession alive here on 4th down. Steps up, looks in, Clark down the middle, he'll be complete. No, drop. And there might have been a case for pass interference down there, but the flag was not thrown. And the Wolves will take over at their own 35-yard line.
Well, it looked like definite pass interference to me, and with the game being 41-0, I'm really surprised they didn't throw the flag anyway, but that's beside the point. He was definitely bumped before the ball ever got there.
We'll see Louis Hurd now coming and run the offense. Some of the new numbers that we have coming in. Chris Kincannon, number 33, is into the ball game. Also, I see number 31, Matt Olson. I think we've called his number already. I'm sure, as you said, we're down to an all-sophomore team right now. You talked about Eddie Everidge. He's lining up on the right side. Hurd comes up with a wishbone behind him, 1st and 10 at the 35. Right side handoff, and barreling out there was that, looked like 32 Dick Fitzhugh, and it was, and almost 10 yards on the carry. They'll put him down, though, at the 44-yard line. Gain of 9 yards on the play by the sophomore.
Nice counter play back to the right side, and a big hole for Dick Fitzhugh.
Back into the ball game is Mark Ridgway. He'll line up back over on the left side. 2nd down. Let's see if they let Louis put it in the air. Inside handoff to the fullback. And maybe a yard gain, and if it is, that should be enough for the first down as Kelby McElrath tries his best to get the first down yardage here at the 45.
I don't know what they'll do if it's short here, but I can tell you what to look for in a couple of downs is Louis Hurd keeping the ball in an option play.
Inside 3 minutes to go in this very long football game here tonight. Just about a half a yard short of the first down. Wishbone set behind Hurd. Left side counter. McElrath lost the handle, and the change was never made. The Bearcats, I think, may have recovered this football here. There was a momentary timeout, official timeout on the field as they try to unscramble this. Lake Hamilton apparently did recover. There was apparently a dead ball penalty, a motion call against Lake Hamilton. So they're going to mark this one off.
Bob, I believe that was number 30, Jason Graves, that fumbled the ball on the play instead of Kelby McElrath.
Here's the motion call. The motion call against Lake Hamilton again. They never did blow the whistle. They let the play go on. It was declined, so it was not a dead ball call. It was a fumble recovery by Lake Hamilton for about a 2-yard loss. So the Wolves will have to go from their own 43-yard line just across the 45 now, and 4th down for the first down. Wide out, left side, and back to the right as well. 4th and 2, Hurd steps back, down the sideline, through the hands of the intended receiver, number 33, Chris Kincannon, and the Wolves will yield now to the Bearcats on 4th down.
That really was a nice throw by Louis Hurd that time. The ball just went right through the hands of the receiver.
It really almost looked like trying to alibi, on the situation there for Kincannon. It kind of looked like when he turned, he looked right up into that light tower across the way and really couldn't see it. He looked really surprised. All right, 1st and 10. Bearcats at the Lake Hamilton 43-yard line. We'll be on the air next week from Lakeside, beginning with the Jerry Clay Show at 7 o'clock. Deep handoff to Clark down to the Lake Hamilton 40. Gain of about 3 yards on that play as we approach the 2-minute mark.
One of my favorite people, Bob, made a tackle that time. He used to have in 8th grade in history class, number 77, Jay Vaca, in on that tackle.
I think we've almost run off the entire roster. Second down and 7 from the 40-yard line. Tim Clark. Ball on the ground. Chris Clark covers it back at the 45-yard line, so a loss of 5. And I think both of these coaches right now are just wanting this one to get over with because the execution has been pretty poor in the last, last half of this quarter.
I've got a feeling those Clark boys, number 12, Tim Clark, and also Chris Clark, I've got a feeling you'll hear a lot from them over the next couple of years from Mena.
They look good. They really do. Schulte wide out to the near side. 3rd down at about 12. Clark steps up. Nice catch. One-hander by, I want to say Schulte, but that, we'll put the glasses on it. Looks like number 81, Benny Bridges. First down inside the Lake Hamilton 30, and they'll put it down to about the 27-yard line. We're inside a minute to go.
That really was a great catch. As you mentioned, a one-handed grab. He just went straight down the field and a quick look-in pass.
47 into the ball game for Lake Hamilton. Do not have his name as well. 1st and 10 as Clark rolls right. Little pressure, goes down the field. It'll be, should have been caught, and we'll finally get that pass interference penalty that we should have seen on the last Mena Bearcat drive. As the intended receiver, I believe that was Schulte, was hit twice. The flags flew at about the 10.
I didn't really think that was as close a pass interference as the one before, but they called this one.
I guess you call that payback. Or maybe with interest. Right. So they'll mark this one off. Will be half the distance to the goal line. I say they will. I don't know what we're waiting on here. Here comes the referee with the ball. See where they finally spot this one down, somewhere around the 13-yard line. So the Mena Bearcats will have about 40 seconds, and Coach Jerry Clay is going to stay with his second and third string defense to see if they can pitch a shutout here. Clark steps up, goes to the end zone, and dropped in the end zone. Schulte, the intended receiver, was wide open by himself, hands all over the ball, but could not hang on.
Nice throw all the way back to the deep left corner of the end zone, and just a drop pass.
I will see a few changes in the defense as McElrath goes back in there. Slot right in right. Second down and 10 from the 13-yard line. The Bearcats trying to get on the board. Same timing pattern, this time to the opposite side of the field. They had, I believe, is that Davis back into the ball game? Some of these Bearcat numbers beginning to get... Oh, 4-6, Bob. Okay. Tim Hooper, intended receiver, looked over the wrong shoulder. So third down, as we've seen the same play go to either side. 10 seconds on the play clock, and finally the Bearcats break the huddle. 7 seconds as Clark gets under center here with 4 seconds to go. Steps up, looks down the middle. It'll be complete. No, finally dropped. I failed to pick up the number. I thought it was 21 for Lake Hamilton. If it was, that's Damon Sheets, of course. Broke it up.
Well, they snuck Damon Sheets back into the secondary there, and he almost came up with the interception.
He's a sophomore, okay. So fourth down, Lake Hamilton trying to shut out the Bearcats here. 28 and a half seconds to go in the ball game. Play clock is down to 7 seconds. Mena may have to take a timeout here. 4, 3. Under center is Clark. 4th and 10. Here's the reverse. Coming to the near side. And down at the 9-yard line. The Lake Hamilton Wolves have held and apparently will win this ball game by a score of 41-0. And look forward to the Lakeside Rams next week. Of course, Lakeside traveled to Hot Springs tonight. And I really look, Hot Springs does not have a lot of players out again this year, but I believe they're going to show themselves well in the conference this year.
Well, Hot Springs played Harrison off their feet last week. I believe it was 20-19 or 20-18 at Harrison, and we know how good a football program Harrison has.
4-3, see if they get the play off here. Got it off with 1 second to go. Tailback call, number 32, plowing his way up, and Big Pitchu picks up about 7 or 8 yards, and we have a football game. Another win for the Lake Hamilton Wolves. Our final score, 41-0. One of the things that, before we break away and come back for some statistics and comments, Tommy, is that Lake Hamilton eventually is going to have to play a more difficult preseason conference schedule, pre-conference schedule. And because when Bryant has been historically down and did not show a whole lot last week, Mena I do not look to see on the schedule next year. You talked with Coach Bubba Payton last week, and you talked more about the conference, I'm sure. And of course, Lakeside, if things go to form like they're supposed to be, will be back in the conference. Have you ever heard any names mentioned for pre-conference